My first question is, and I want people to answer this in the comments. What year is it? Can somebody please tell me what year are they in right now? They have not said, to my knowledge, what year they are in. All right, what it do? It's your boy Dapper back with another BMF review just for you. Before we get started, before we say anything, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Like I said, it's a prerequisite. But welcome back if this is not your first time watching me, and welcome to those who are. It is your first time watching me. What we're gonna do in here is like regular. We're gonna go through the episode. I'm gonna talk to y'all like y'all already watched. This is not for anybody to get like the story if you didn't watch it or whatever. It's for those that watched it for real. So that being the case, I want to before we even get into Meech, pause. I want to actually ask a real question, because last episode I got into like my gripes with BMF and the writing and things of that nature. Still a show I'm willing to watch. It's not that bad. It's not unwatchable TV. You know what I'm saying? But there's definitely some things that could be improved. Now, my first question is, and I want people to answer this in the comments. What year is it? Can somebody please tell me what year are they in right now? They have not said, to my knowledge, what year they are in. I guess if you go back and see whatever time Tupac was at the Jack the Ripper convention, maybe you can piece it together. I'm hearing, I think it's here 92 or whatever. But I'm just like, this show is kind of slowly pacing, because remember, BMF was on top for till '05. You know what I'm saying? So for them to be in 92 still in season 3, maybe we're not moving fast enough. But that's all I wanted to know for off top. Like, if there's one thing you're going to comment on, let me know what year it is, please. All right, but moving on, let's hop into talking about Meech. All right, so we see scenes where Meech opens up. You know what I'm saying? Meech got basically trying to take care of Angel. Meech love being just the Flannery. One thing the Flannery Bros is gonna do is be up under a woman. It's just something that's innate in their nature. I guess you see it from their dad too. They just gonna want to be up under a woman, even as much as they focus on what they're doing and know that they can't be in both places successfully, and they always choose to work over the women. They're gonna want to be up under a woman for whatever reason. But Angel obviously was like, I don't know, but Meech held it down, and she's appreciative of that. But moving forward, we see that when he's talking to Loco, they got the new pilot to drop off their bricks, and Meech is thinking, hey, Terry and them is already out in Detroit. They could just do the drop. Loco's like, no, papi, you do it. Meech is like, whoa, all right, well, got a first impression is the best impression, so he got to go through and do it. So Meech on his way goes to Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Fast forward, he gets to meet the pilot. I'm thinking there's going to be something wrong with the pilot. I'm thinking there's something sketchy going on, blase, blase. But it wasn't even nothing sketchy going on. The real issue was that it was like 10 times more bricks than they were prepared for. Meech drove there in a little Mercedes. He needed a van for all that. And even in the van, it was probably packed to the brim. You know what I'm saying? Ended up having to pay dude off. And, obviously, once he's paying dude off, he gets scoped out by Bryant. Now, how Bryant got there, I don't know. But I'm never going to knock Bryant's ear to the streets. Maybe he found something out. I don't know. But we see that Meech knows that, we're going to need more manpower. So he gets Terry on the move, get everybody there. I got to do some Atlanta coming down. Oh, this is blase, blase, blase. So everything's in motion for Meech and them. But, Meech ends up, trying to do the drop or the delivery rather, back to regular Detroit. And, you know what I'm saying? It's tough because Brian is tailing him. And with Brian, we're going to talk more about Brian in a second, but Meech devises a super smart on-the-fly plan with the pilot that gets, Brian off their back. And we're going to talk about that when we get to Brian. Let's go back. But this just, shows, we're going to get from Meech what we always going to get from Meech. Like, Meech is always going to be the super smart, super savvy dude. this is just what Meech is, and like it seems that he's never this far in the show he hasn't been outsmarted yet. Like I'm waiting for that moment where like he has to really have his back against the wall because it hasn't really happened yet. Like Meech has been able to kind of like how Power is like just Tariq always just figures out a way. Meech is just always figures out a way. You know what I'm saying? All right, Terry. So the word around the street is everybody believes Markeisha is the one that called in that CPS call on Terry. Now, I don't know that I believe that because, I mean, I don't know what she would gain from that because, again, she's a mom herself and she knows what firsthand what that can do. And, like, why would you want to put T through that just so she can have him to herself? That's crazy. Like, you would take his firstborn and his next born out the picture just so like, that's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, moving into the actual storyline of it, of the work and all the things of that nature, you know, Terry's always missed to play it safe. Like, rather safe than sorry. That's Terry's motto. Terry never really wants to take too much risk, but Terry also still wants to have his own, you know, way of doing things. And as you can see, this is how BMF eventually ends up becoming like two sides of the same coin because they're both two different people, though they're brothers. So, he doesn't want Meech to do delivery because Meech doesn't have a license, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. Everything you needed to do delivery, Meech didn't have. And Meech is like, yo, I got to do it. So with that being the case, he was what it was. And then obviously we had the CPS case going on with Terry. So Terry can't even really focus too much on what Meech got to do because it's like, yo, I got to save my family. Now, when we see the scene where the lady comes to the restaurant and I don't know if he successfully, you know, like I don't know if it was successful or not. Y'all tell me in the comments if y'all felt it was successful because it seemed like the guys he had there were bothering him and I like, you know, hey, I need the macaroni, like playing around, you know what I'm saying? But it was the wrong kind of playful to be in that moment, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that left a bad impression on the lady or if it was a good impression or it was just, you know, neutral, but I don't know where this stands with Terry. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get into Markeisha because she did some things in the background that might help him out. But right now, I don't know where that CPS case stands with Terry at the very moment. But going back to the Markeisha thing, remember, he was supposed to, after all this was successful, you know, the move, everything, the Meech dropping off the, you know, the work was successful, all that stuff was successful. He was planning to go to dinner with Markeisha. But again, Meech puts him on like, yo, I know they didn't tell you, but there's dinner at the house. Everybody's invited. Lawanda, you know, mom, dad, Nicole, everybody there. So he has no choice but to jump those plans, Markeisha for the family. But remember, he went to go see Markeisha before he went to go see the family, and you know he was doing this thing with her, and then went to go back to go kiss Lawanda after he was just with Markeisha. That's crazy, Terry. That's crazy. But we find out at the end of all this, for Terry's arc, at least in this episode, he's going to go to Atlanta next episode. So I was actually wrong because it seemed like from the beginning of the episodes that like it was going to be a back and forth. They was going to be on the phone, you know, most of the season just, hey, this was going on, this was going on. The baker, the pans, you know, they died their little code words or whatever they have for each other. But we'll see. Terry's now going to Atlanta, and we know that there's some stuff waiting for Meech and Terry in Atlanta, and we'll get to talk about that in a little second. But we want to change gears real quick. We got Lucille. Now, I don't like, we'll talk about Charles in a second, but I don't like how they had Charles looking like this sex symbol in this episode. I didn't like it not one bit because gross, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like it not one bit. I'd rather just see Charles for Charles because, you know, obviously Lucille has not been getting anything because she's been on the outs with Charles and she hasn't, you know, had yet to link up with, you know, Dr. Maurice or whatever. So with that being the case, everything is getting her a little hot and bothered. She comes home, she sees Charles pumping weight doing some bicep curls. She's getting hot and bothered, and then she's mad because she people are mad at something, so they start taking it out on somebody else. You know what I'm saying? The first was with Nicole with the tampons. Then it was with Nicole with she had friends over. She's, you know, getting a little cozy with Breeze or whatever. And she's like cock blocking Nicole. I'm just like, yo, like, relax, Lucille. Relax. Putting signs up in the house. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So, you know what I'm saying? Goes to talk to the doctor. This is the first time we see her with the doctor in this episode is when she goes to talk to the doctor about getting some pamphlets and some information for Nicole about, you know, the sex and things. Because Nicole's obviously a teenager and getting to that age, and what I'm saying, blase, and when Nicole has a big moment in this episode, and we'll go talk about that when we get to Nicole. But one thing that bothers me in this episode is, why did the doctor call her Luce? I don't care in what world, what time period. Luce is not a nickname for Lucille. You gotta find something else. Get a nickname, a middle name, something. It can't be Luce. Luce is not the nickname for Lucille. That joint, it just made me cringe. I was like, ew, Luce? But regardless, one thing that happened is, obviously after Nicole has her moment, like I said, we'll talk about Nicole next, or in a few. She runs right to the doctor after that moment. That's insane to me. That's really insane to me. All that happened at the table. You're accused of that, accused of this, accused of that. And the first person you go to is the doctor? Nasty work. Nasty work. Nasty work. Nasty work. And then going to leave the doctor with blue balls. Insane. Like, if you're going to go there, Nicole, Lucille, you got to go all the way, man. You can't just, you know what I'm saying? You can't go there halfway. Such a thing as halfway crooks. You know what I'm saying? All right, Charles. So we see Charles, you know what I'm saying, the bicep curls had me weak, and then like curls, and then he admits to Lucille later on in the episode, like, hey, like I saw, because we see Charles, he's going around trying to win Lucille back, getting her good graces. He's doing a bunch of patchwork around the house, working out, blase, and I just didn't like the fact they were trying to make him look like this sexy like house husband to us. I didn't like it one bit, because I don't see Charles like that. I mean, I don't think any women also see Charles like that at all either. So it was just weird to see, because it's like, yeah, Charles, like, obviously he's up in age. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who that was for. It obviously wasn't for me. And I don't know if it was for the women demographic here either. But I see what they were trying to do. And that's pretty much all that was going on with Charles in the episode. Just trying to find out what's going on with Lucille, be honest, quote unquote, be honest with her, and have her be honest with him. And, him just trying to, win her back. But one thing I did see that nobody else pointed out that I've seen thus far, why was there a pull-up bar in his doorway? I know for a fact, I don't know for a fact, 100%, but I'm 98% sure that there was no such thing as that pull-up bar invented back whenever, again, what time period is this in? What time period is this in? And they already caught another scene in another episode with Meech having an ear pod in his ear. So like, what time period is this show taking place in? Because there was no pull-up bar back in this time period. I know there was not. So, again, writers, stop being lazy. Producers, stop being lazy. Directors, stop being lazy. There was no such thing as a pull-up bar. Get whatever it was supposed to be, or we just didn't have to have the pull-up bar in the first place. It's that simple. We got Nicole. Now, Nicole, only part to really talk about really with Nicole was obviously we talked about when we were talking about Lucille, her moment with Breeze and how she's tight because she couldn't have her friends over of the opposite sex and things of that nature. And I get it as a parent, that's that struggle parents have with teens all the time. Every generation pretty much is like, yo, you're too young to be doing that. You don't know what you're doing. You don't understand. And, the parents are just trying to protect them from, unwanted pregnancy and all that other stuff. So Nicole at that point had enough. So Nicole does her best Diana impression, Diana from Power impression. She ends up, well, everybody thinks it's an innocent dinner. She cooks for everybody. She's like, well, that's not even the best part. And then lets off on everybody. She's like, yo, y'all are coming after me, talking about I'm growing up too fast, but y'all the reason I grew up too fast. And like Meech and Terry have baby mamas. Meech got two of them, by two kids, by two different baby mamas. Terry got this one and dating some old woman. You done cheated. Dad done cheated with Miss Mabel. You seeing the doctor behind Dad's back. Like, this is all crazy, and y'all coming after me. And I feel her pain, because why is she becoming the villain for y'all bad intentions? Stop throwing it on me. So I feel Nicole 100%, because why are you throwing this all on me when y'all are the villains? Don't make me the villain. Like, don't take it out on me because y'all have nobody else to take it out on. And I feel her in that. So shout out to Nicole. And now, granted, I think Diana's scene trumps this, because with Diana's scene came a lot of missing parts. Like, so much things happen. Now, this is like a poor man's replica, not to be disrespectful of it or whoever wrote the scene, but you know what I'm saying? It still had its point and its powerful moment in the scene. In this episode, sorry. Back into the main storyline, we got Detective Bryant. Now, he's bold because he goes to visit Detective Jin right in her place of her family restaurant or whatever, and lets her know, like, look, I know XYZ happened and we saw, but I saved your life and you're not innocent because remember, you tampered with evidence. So you can pull what card you have on me, but there's a card to be pulled on you as well. So pick your poison, basically. And you know, she in that scene lets us know like that's what she was doing with the when she stole those. I didn't really peep or remember at the time, but as she was doing when she stole those 2 bricks from the scene where I forgot son name begin with an S, but he when she stole those 2 when he was dead, that crime scene, she stole those 2 bricks and she was taking it to replace the evidence that they had because they had fake benzos in there. Now she put real joints in there, and now you know her ass is fully covered basically. But back to Brian's life. I almost called the man Charles. If you know, you know. But he wants to ambush that shipment, and Henrietta's like, "Hey, look, go ahead and do it." So he's like, "Yo, I got the perfect way to do it. I'm gonna go ahead, caught Meech at the airport. You know what I'm saying?" And follows him. But while following Meech realizes, "Damn, I'm stuck, and I got to get out of here because." You know what I'm saying? He's here. The actual cops are in the diner. So, but we know that the pilot had once used the bathroom. So Meech calls the pilot, makes up a quick plan, and with that being the case, it ends up getting him implicated instead of Meech. And Meech's able to escape scot-free. It was mad funny seeing his face pressed up against the windshield because I'm like, damn, you went from cop doing this to Meech and them, doing this to all the other thugs, drug dealers, and now look at you. Can't even show a badge because you're not even active right now. You on suspension. Tough love, tough life. And now he has to go back and say to Henry's face, I failed the mission once again. Last and least, really. You know how to say last but not least? No, but this is last and least. Detective Jin. Actually, no, we have one more person after Detective Jin, but this is definitely least. I still am not sold on this whole her whole story. Like, I don't care. I don't care about her. I don't care about Detective Kofi or Kobe, whatever her name is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Only thing that came from this for her is they found out who bought the ambulance truck, who they bought the ambulance truck from, and they arrested that dude and they got him in, you know, the questioning or whatever, and they're gonna try and break him down. That's really the only thing that really like came from this. Other than that, I really don't have anything else for Jin, unfortunately. All right. So lastly, we have Stacks. Now, Stacks had a quick moment, but a very important moment at the end of this episode. So we find out that Meech, obviously, Stacks left Meech a couple episodes ago, just saying, like, look, you ain't Moses, I ain't about to follow you, you know what I'm saying, blase, blase. But his man just stayed there. So that left him with nobody. So, well, not nobody, but, you know what I'm saying, his top tier guys was not with him. So he's obviously a free agent pretty much at this point. So then he switches. We see the scene opens up with him basically apologizing to Meech, and you know obviously that's suspect in itself. Nobody in this game really apologizes like that. Usually people die on their own sword kind of vibe. So yeah, that was already a suspect thing. So I already knew something was. So I thought he was gonna be with Greenie. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be plotting, you know, something to go back at Meech. But he's actually with somebody even worse, Glock. And what he doesn't even know is because he's working with these Haitian dudes and he can't even understand what they're saying. They calling him an idiot, all this kind of stuff. So he don't know that his days is probably numbered as well. Like, they going to turn on you as well. They just asking for you to deliver Meech. And they promise him, you know, he deliver Meech and Terry for the free. And then they going to help him take care of Remy. And I don't know if that's going to be the case. So Stacks might have set himself up for death. And he, more than likely, we know Meech is not going to get taken down easily. So he might die in vain from all of this. You know what I'm saying? But with that being the case, this is where we'll end off at for episode 4 of season 3 of BMF. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I thank you so much, and I appreciate you. Help me get to 500. We on the road to 500. I think we had like 4:17 at the time of posting this video. Y'all really viewed the last one, and if you need to catch up, I can view the other videos and just, you know, check out my channel overall. With that being the case, we're out of here. Big dripper stand up in the ocean. Everybody trapping, we get lost. He ain't focused yet.